Hello, I'm Dr. John Stracks. I'm here with Melissa Farmer, who's the CEO of the Aivo app, which is an app that helps people recover from chronic pain. We're going to talk about a new research study that we're sponsoring based on the work of Vanya Apkarian, one of the leading pain researchers in the world. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Good, good, good. I want to talk about the research study and a little bit about who you are and what Aivo is, but let's jump right into to Aivo and the research study. So can you give us a little bit of background about what Aivo is, how it started, and how it works?
Yeah, absolutely. So our motivation, our intention behind creating Aivo was to get the science that exists into the hands of the people who need it right now. Because it takes about 10 years for this new knowledge to trickle into clinical guidelines and then actual practice by physicians. And Dr. Stracks, you're way ahead of the curve here. You created the curve in a sense. So this isn't necessarily a statement about you, but a lot of people in the US have a different situation. So Aivo addresses the root cause of chronic pain, which is the emotional brain. And it's based on the research of Dr. Vanya Apkarian, which has shown that essentially the chronic pain state is both maintained for long term and dynamically reorganizes the brain over time. So it's a natural complement with Sarno's TMS approach as well.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Yeah, so the reason why we're interested in the research study and that we wanted to partner with you for the research study is to show that what we have created so far, which is a direct inheritance from Dr. Apkarian's research, we want to show that it works in people with pain. So far we've done a clinical study with 38 people, and we found that people had up to 74% pain relief, which is super cool. So it's a brain-based approach. And what we're testing now is a new type of dynamic personalization of the app. So it's accessible through a phone app, the Aivo app. And the first week, there are two sections. The first week is essentially us getting a profile, a psychological profile of what strengths and weaknesses you have that are specific to your experience of pain. And then we use this information to create hypotheses that begin on week 2. And we start to give you a series of 3 to 5 day tracks, which are like lessons. And these tracks cover things, everything from relief learning, positive emotional learning, embodied meditation, sleep hygiene, exercise, a lot of the things that we know can help, but in a very focused manner. And then what we do after each 3 to 5 day track is we see if your pain went down. And if your pain goes down, we give you more of that type of track. So in that way, we dynamically personalize this as your pain continues and as it reduces over time. In a sense, it's a system that is created to identify which types of behavioral treatments or interventions will reduce your personal pain the most. So
And
that's what this study is about.
great. Can you give an example of like one of those personalized interventions, just like one thing that I might experience if I enter into the study?
Absolutely. For example, there's lots of pain neuroscience learning tracks. And these are all ones that I created. So you have a neuroscience who's created the content, a neuroscientist who's created the content for you. Talking about how to identify different emotions in your body and the sensations that are associated with those emotions, because we all know that emotions are sensory and sensations are emotional. If an emotion without a sensation is just a thought, in a sense. So it guides you through sort of these embodied practices of in your body right now, where do you feel emotions? Where do you feel sensations? And then sort of walking you through that. So it's a little bit of education and then a little bit of applying the concepts that you learn. And some of these will be familiar and then some may be new.
And then you said that because there's frequent evaluation of how I'm doing, if I seem to be getting better doing those things, I get more of those. And if I seem to be going the same as I was, and there's some new new interventions that happen over time, right?
Yeah, and it's also based on what you express in the first week of use. You know, whenever we're asking quite a few questions, maybe like 5 to 10 a day, to get a good sense of what are your concerns or focal areas right now. There's also a coach that's in the app, that a real person who you'll be connected with, and he's there to help you use the app experience to the best of your potential. So for instance, if you tell him that you're working on a certain type of goal right now, he will also move forward tracks that are addressing your specific areas of concern. So we've really put a lot of focus into how to adapt the content that we have for your current pain experience. That's our goal.
And is the coach, is he literally there in the app, or can I actually talk to him? Is he a bot, or is he actually
No,
a real
he's
person?
not a bot. He's a real human being, and he's a wonderful human being who's lived with pain himself. And actually, his pain was resolved through the Sarna approach, and he saw his pain resolved soon after seeing Dr. Stracks. Interestingly,
Mhm.
things just come around like this.
Nice.
So he's a super empathic human being on the other end. Uh, During the day, he'll respond immediately, or the next day if you message during the evening. So it's a real human being and who remembers details. He's interested in your story. Yeah.
That's great. How long is the intervention? And so there are 3 to 5 day tracks. Does that go on for a certain length of time?
It's a 12-week period of time. And it's important to, I mean, we all have lives. So if it takes a little bit longer than the 12 weeks, that's fine too. So just, once you start using it, you'll get a sense of how it can fit into your life. Our goal is not to keep you coming back every day. How we created it is to where you only would need to look at it for maybe 10 minutes a day. So for instance, um, one of the participants I spoke with from a previous study, at the end of the day, he liked to sit down in his favorite chair with, a glass of tea and just sort of learn about pain for the evening. So, you can create a ritual around it. But our goal is to give you information and guidance that you can take into the real world. And we don't want you becoming dependent on the app. That's not the intention at all.
Mhm.
One of the things that is key is rating your pain, mood, and sleep each day. And because sometimes thinking about pain too much it can create more focus. Think of it almost as if whenever you're entering it into the app keeps the pain. You can just put in the experience and then forget about it, so that you don't have to keep on focusing on pain as you move through your life. But these daily ratings are really important because, like I said before, it's almost like, I call it the pain heartbeat, because it's, you're keeping your hand on the pulse of the pain. And a lot of the research that we've based this on are showing that people's pain changes really dramatically day by day, even hour by hour. And so it's really important to track these shifts in pain. So whenever your pain increases or decreases, this is all information that we're actively using to help select the tracks. But more than that, the neuroscientific basis behind this is that there are two states of mind states whenever you're experiencing pain. One is whenever pain is increasing and high, and that's a period where it's best to focus on self-soothing, compassionate self-soothing, and relaxation and calming your nervous system down, increasing safety cues, because that's not an optimal state for your brain to learn. Your brain learns best whenever pain is decreasing or stable and low. So also one of the things that we teach you in the app is, if you're working on expanding your coping skills, the time to do that is whenever you're in a more stable period. If you're in the middle of a pain flare, shift your focus to self-care. Don't push yourself. It's not the time to, have the judgment in mind, like, if I do this, then I'll have done it. And it's, sometimes we push ourselves whenever we're in that flare state, because darn it, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to move that shelf. And then that can, increase the pain a bit more. So it's a time to be really self-compassionate whenever we're in pain flares.
And for people who feel like they're always in a pain flare, are there something that they can do, or do you find, or have you found in your research previously, that even if people feel like they're always up here, the research does say that there's some up and down to their
Yes,
experience?
and that's one of the interesting. So a couple of things. Even whenever you feel your pain is constantly up, we still see that there are some natural ebbs and flows. And paying attention to those ebbs and flows is important, because it also violates the belief that my pain is always max. There are some people, however, where pain is always max. And in my experience, whenever people come into the app, it takes 2 or 3 weeks for the process to affect those people's pain. So we have seen it's a special group of people who, whenever their pain starts to change, it's almost like a tipping point state change, where you see a high level of pain and then it starts to jitter and then you see a drop. So that's why these, daily pain ratings are so important, to where we can track where your jitter is, because whenever stable systems start to change, you'll see a little bit of erratic jitter, which might feel like a little bit of a flare, interestingly. And that's actually just the noise in the system before the state changes.
It's one of the things that I teach people too, that there has to be some of that small change before you can see larger change. And if we dismiss the small changes because we want the larger changes, which is what we all want, then we lose the momentum that we're gaining when we do that. And so I think paying attention to those smaller changes at the beginning is an important part of
And
getting on.
something that I totally agree, and that also dovetails nicely with some of Vanya's research, where his original research showed that he had people rating their pain from second to second. So whenever you ask someone to rate just moment to moment changes, you see it's a completely different trajectory over the course of minutes, where pain increases slightly, decreases slightly. And that's a confirmation that pain isn't stable, but also that there are lots of small opportunities for relief, and shifting, like you're saying, shifting the focus from I have pain to what does pain relief feel like? There are lots of sensations in between here that I haven't been paying attention to for years, because I've just been in pain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so if people want to join the study, how do they do that?
Yes. Well, you can we should talk about this. You can go to avohealth.com/campaign/Cormendi. And that's a very specific route for Cormendi patients, because whenever you come in through that specific route, we're able to give you a consent process, because we want to make sure that, we're partners in this. We want to make sure what we're asking, and what we want to give you opportunity to ask questions if you have questions. So if while you're reading that you have any questions, you can email us at research@aivohealth.com, and I'll make sure that this information is provided next to this video as well.
Yeah, we'll have both of those links there.
And what then happens is you get an email with a code, and it's your specific code that you then download the app, put that code in the bottom of the first page, and that gets you into the study. And we have a very special process for accommodating Cormendi patients. We give you extra care. So it's important to follow that, particular link that was designed just for you. We even have part of the beginning of the app that's just for Cormendi members.
Great. Is there a cost to it?
No cost. Because we're honoring the time that you're sharing with us, normally the app is $260 a month. And we have, we, realistically, the time that you're sharing with us is worth more than that. But also the focus here, we're not at the stage in our company where we're looking at making money. We're looking at whether what we have works. And we're very open to ideas about how to make it work better. So I'd really like you to think of yourself as a co-collaborator in this. You can email me directly at melissa@aivohealth.com and give me your opinions about the process as well. What you like, what you don't, what you wish you'd like to see, because our motivation here is to get more and more people better. And this is why it's sort of a collaborative effort. One of the other things I'd like to mention is that you're sharing data with us. We don't sell the data that you share with us. We aren't doing anything else with it other than using it to build models, data models that give us better ideas of how to treat other people in the future. So also, as you're going through this process, the information that you're sharing with us is being used to create templates of different types of people who respond to different things. And our hope is that in the future, someone will come in within the first couple of weeks and they rate, they do the questionnaires and they rate their pain. And we already see, oh, you look like someone who responds to these 3 treatments, because all the people in the past have responded that sort of look like you have responded to these things. So let's give that to you first. So in a sense, by participating in this process, you're helping us treat other people more effectively in the future.
And that's the goal, right? The goal of the study is both to help people feel better in the moment and to gain more information about how to continue to help more people
Absolutely.
down the road. I'm going to put you on the spot here because we didn't talk about this, but any examples you can think of patients who've used Aivo really effectively thus far?
Yes, I can also link a couple of videos of people. We have Amy and Tamara who have done really well and don't have any pain. But also, for instance, just last week, one of our members ended her relationship with us because she hadn't had any pain for a few months. And that's the best outcome whenever people don't need us.
Absolutely. We are trying to put ourselves out of business. That's the goal.
Yes, absolutely.
Anything else? Anything else people should know about Aivo or the study?
Something that is very unique about Aivo is that it was started by a chronic pain patient and a neuroscientist. So Vanya Apkarian is the neuroscientist. I'm also a neuroscientist. I worked with Vanya Apkarian for many years in academia. And actually, I left academia to work more directly with people with pain because I wasn't seeing a translation of the knowledge that exists. It wasn't impacting people. And so what I'd like to leave with is just this idea that our whole motivation here, our mission, is to share the knowledge that exists about neuroplasticity of chronic pain directly with people and give it the knowledge to you in your hand that you can use at any time. So that's in a sense, the consciousness of chronic pain and living with chronic pain and knowing that it's possible to overcome it is weaved throughout the technology. And I hope that you sense that whenever you experience it.
Yeah, which is great. And because obviously that at Cormendi, that's our mission too, is to get people the state of the science treatments for pain and chronic symptoms. And that's why we're partnering, because we have a lot of knowledge and experience in this, and so do you. And we feel like putting that together helps to push this forward so that more and more people can get treatment and effective treatment and get healed more quickly.
I wish that there were more physicians like you, Dr. Stracks. It's so exciting for us to work with you because the alignment is just so natural, and I feel that in my heart. I know it's a little soft there, but it's really refreshing to work with someone who I can both learn from and who gets at such a deep level what we're doing. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we are excited as well. So we will end here for today. If people are interested in the study, we'll have the links available next to this video. And I would love to talk with you more at some point on camera, just about what you know about pain and what you've learned and what your background is. And so we will schedule that at some point
Okay.
in the near future. So thank you for spending this time with me, and thank you for this opportunity for our patients. And I will talk with you soon.